I'm Ben Simon, music director of the San Francisco Chamber Orchestra. We're speaking today with composer Carlos Simon, who has recently written a piece that the SFCO will premiere over our upcoming main stage programs over the weekend of February 25, 26, and 27. Carlos is affiliated with Gabriela Lena Frank's Creative Academy of Music. And here is my recent conversation with Carlos. Hi, Carlos. How are you?
I am well, Ben. So good to see you.
Where are you zooming from?
Well, at this moment, I am in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm here for a premiere, and I had a great time last night at the concert. But I live in D.C. That's where my hometown is, and that's where I'm based right now in Washington D.C., where I am composer in residence at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and also on faculty at Georgetown University.
Those are two very prestigious positions. Congratulations, Carlos.
Thank you, thank you.
So, your piece, which we're going to talk about in a second, came about through the Gabriela Lena Frank Creative Academy of Music
Mhm.
and the San Francisco Chamber Orchestra's long relationship with Gabby Frank. Can you tell us how you got involved with the organization, what it's meant to you professionally, Carlos?
Yeah, well, I met Gabby when I was actually here at the University of Michigan, studying as a doctoral student, and she came for residency, and the orchestra was playing her music, and she did actually talk to composers, and young composers, student composers, and I was just blown away by who she was, as a person, but also what the types of music that she was writing. And at that time I wasn't really sure how to blend my cultural background with the music that I was learning about in class and in school. And here was Gabby, who was doing it so well, blending her Peruvian heritage with the music of a Western tradition. And I was just blown away. It was like, here's this model, and so she asked me a couple of years later, and after that, asked me to be a part of the inaugural class of her academy. So I was a part of I was her guinea pig, as she always says, at first class. And we have become since friends, and she's been a great mentor.
She's an amazing person, and we're delighted that we can still keep a relationship going with Miss Frank. So your piece, Carlos, is called "Breathe"
Mhm.
for chamber orchestra. Can you tell us a little about your inspiration, about the piece, and how
Yeah,
that?
sure. I mean, the piece, it is what it sounds like. Breathe. I wanted to write a piece that was the opposite of what I was sort of feeling at the moment. Starting a piece, I wrote it. There's a lot of things happening in the world, but also in my life, and wanted to just really, use the piece as an outlet, as a meditative process of, sort of um, just, it's work, right? I mean, when I write music, sometimes it can be like just very tedious, and it's like, okay, I would have this F sharp here. I got it's had to go down to the F natural. I didn't want this piece to be that. I wanted it to be more organic and be actually a meditative process, and each time I went to the piece, it's like, okay, I have to, get into the space of breathing. And so what you're here is, I wanted the orchestra to breathe, and not only through the instruments, but also like physically breathe. And the piece is not a piece that I will say, I want the audience to also enjoy in this, or participate in the breathing of it. And it's important, and I think that we forget to breathe sometimes. And it's this element that it's very intuitive, and you don't realize that you're breathing, but breathing really helps us to kind of focus, but also relax, and but also have a sense of clarity about things. So I mean, that's the principle of the piece in itself.
And I know from your program notes, Carlos,
Mhm.
you're talking about being inspired by Howard Thurman's Meditations of the Heart,
Yes.
and one section called Still Dews of Quietness.
Yes.
which urges one to stay put for a spell. So that's
Mhm.
kind of what the piece is about, would you say?
Yeah, I mean that's it's absolutely, and one of the things that during this pandemic, it's he has this book called Meditation of the Heart, and that's been one of my favorite books um as of late. And then he has these little short um what do you say, entries that he would sort of just go, and it's so deep, and of course he's a San Francisco, was based in San Francisco for a while, and he's minister, a theologian, scholar, great thinker and writer. And the piece is really about just kind of sitting down, and I took the inspiration from reading that particular entry. And it's important. You got to sit down and just rest the mind for a period, for a spell, as he says.
I think we can all use that these days. There's so much going on in everybody's life, and the COVID has been lingering, and we're all wondering what the future will bring. So sitting and breathing and meditating is probably a good instructions for all of us.
Yeah, and then this is a different piece for me. I want to say that, usually, especially as I'm speaking for myself, as a composer who's um sort of getting off the ground with my music and my career, it has been my pieces. I wanted, like, always wanted to sort of impress, right? And I just write the hardest music, or write the music that's gonna get attention and these types of things. But I didn't want to write this, write that with use this opportunity. I wanted to actually, have this piece as meditation, and as something that's not as flashy, and that is, grandiose, and the piece is really meant to be an exercise in peace, and an exercise in contentment.
Well, we're looking forward to performing it and breathing. And we hope that all of you who are listening to this interview will be really intrigued. I think you should be, by what Carlos is saying is a very unusual piece for him. I think it's a very unusual piece. We had a reading session back in October, and it's quite beautiful and spacious, as you can imagine. So, Carlos, thank you so much for sharing your time and your thoughts. This concert is coming up at the end of February in the Bay Area. We have 3 programs, February 25, 26, 27. You can check out, I never know which, you can check out thesfco.org for all the information. Carlos's colleague, Jessica Hunt, another alumna of the Gabrielina Frank Creative Academy of Music, will be premiering a very different piece called Heat. And I think after Heat, Carlos, we're all going to need to breathe.
Okay.
So I think that will be the concert order, and I think it's going to be brilliant. So thank you for writing us the piece. Thank you for sharing your thoughts today. And we're looking forward to working on this. And of course, hearing more from you in the future.
Thank you so much, Ben, for taking the time to speak with me, and giving me the platform to speak about the piece. I'm looking forward to being with you all and hearing the orchestra, and just breathing.
We'll breathe together. Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks,
See you
Ben.
soon.
Thanks.
A shout out to the Medallia Company for their generous sponsorship of the San Francisco Chamber Orchestra this season.